RBT family, what is the deal? It's your dog Willie Jack, and we are back. We are back, baby. More NFL action. Week 2 just concluded. A lot of good stuff to talk about, man. So y'all go ahead, sit on down, get real comfortable, pour something cold in your cup if you're into that type of thing, and let's sit down and talk a little ball, man. Let's sit down and talk a little ball. Oh, okay. We got a couple early birds in here too. I appreciate y'all. Well, shout out to the fam, bam. What's going on? Yeah, sis said what's going on. She know what's going on. She know what time it is. What it do? Let's talk some ball. You know what's going on. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Mind Deuce, what's going on, lady? Let's get it popping. You already know that. Miss Rennie, what's going on? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, y'all go ahead and get on. Sit on down. Get on comfortable. Yeah, we're going to get the party started. We're going to get the party started. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of news. While everybody sits down and get real comfortable. You know what's going on when you get in here too, man. Sit in here, get comfortable, hit my chat, tap in with your dog, man. Say what's up, what's going on, and we're gonna talk some ball, man. And actually, let's go ahead and open up the show and talk a little. I don't know what to call it, man. Little housekeeping in Carolina. So Carolina has announced that Bryce Young is being benched, and as he's 2 games in to year 2 of his career, and they already pulling the plug, or at least this new coaching staff with Coach Canales there pulling the plug. At least at this point, just not at all competitive, just not at all looking competent at the position. I mean, it looks past bad. It looks damn awful. And so a lot of things. Hold on, I feel like my lighting's a little off. Forgive me, but a lot of things look bad or just off or terrible in Carolina these days. Coach Canales, David Canales, came over for Tampa Bay, was the offensive coordinator last year there with Baker Mayfield, helped kind of revive or rejuvenate his career. And now we've seen him now on the other side of a nice little $30 million contract, get off to a 2-0 start. And so now that coach is in Carolina. The hope had to have been that this is the guy that could save or salvage an already tumultuous, I guess, NFL career for the young Bryce Young. And what's so, I guess, devastating about this, if you're the Panthers organization, for sure, is for one, what you paid to get him. I mean, they gave up a haul. They're still paying for it. They're still paying for this Bryce Young draft pick from 2 drafts ago now. And so I think the last of those picks they sent to Chicago are in this year's upcoming draft. I think there's like a 3rd round pick left or something like a mid-round style of pick left. But yeah, still, man, just the I don't know if demise is the right word or term to use, but just the fall of the Panthers organization has been pretty substantial. And honestly, thinking about it right now, let's say 10 years ago, this was a team with an MVP quarterback in Cam Newton, and they were a Super Bowl participant roughly 10 years ago. I think that was a 2015 year that Cam went full-fledged Superman on the league. They were 15-1. Cam Newton was your league MVP, and like I said, they competed in that Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos, and then no-fly zone defense got waxed, but they were there. And they ran through and dominated just about everybody that was in front of them for that year. I can't even remember who they lose to that year. Did they split with Atlanta? Maybe the Falcons and Matt Ryan. I can't remember specifically, but yeah, just 10 years ago, just 9 years ago, less than 10 years ago. And it's crazy thinking about just how a team that was right there, just playing at the highest level in this league as an organization, reach the highest of highs. You're in the Super Bowl, and then you lose that game. And then honestly, it's been a pretty steady decline probably since then, if we're being honest. It didn't all crumble at once, but Cam got a little banged up. The talent around that team, especially on the offensive side, they never really got it figured out at the receiver position. Kelvin Benjamin, Ted Ginn Jr., these style of guys on the outside. It was a lot of heavy lifting by Cam. Christian McCaffrey, when he was healthy, he was banged up and beat up a lot of that time as well. And then Greg Olsen at the tight end position. And so, but yeah, since that 2015 season, man, it's been probably uh, more down than up. But yet and still, man, they weren't incompetent or they weren't inept of being able to compete on Sundays against other professional style of teams, because that's where they're at now. I mean, it looks damn bad. And so Bryce Young, they're pulling the plug at this time or at this point. Andy Dalton is going to be the starter for this foreseeable future. Honestly, I expect Andy to do well. Well, here's the thing: is what the bar's so damn low, he can't do worse. So anything you get from Andy Dalton is going to be an improvement. And then also, we know how these things tend to go as well. When you get some type of change or major shakeup in the locker room, in the coaching room, whatever the case, it's a spark. And so you generally get a high point or a blimp blip on the radar just from just such a large move getting made. And so, like I said, it gives everybody that extra spark in their back. And so I expect that. Now, I don't know how long that lasts as well. That's the thing about a spark. It burns bright, but it burns fast. And so we'll see, just how far that this move carries as far as wins and losses go. But I definitely expect that the next time the Panthers take the field is going to be the best we've seen them perform in a year and a half. I know Andy Dalton he filled in for Bryce Young for, I want to say, maybe 2 games last season during Bryce's rookie year, and they were easily the best 2 games that they performed. I think they won one of those games, which may have been, did they only win 2 games last year? And so I think Andy won one of those, and it was probably the first time, one of the only times last season, that they even moved the ball much, if any, or at all. And so I definitely expect Andy Dalton to get in there, make some things happen. He's going to lean on the other veteran in there on that offense, and Adam Thielen. I'm sure they'll be able to get some type of rapport going. And like I said, I don't expect it to be fireworks, but I expect it to be competent football. I do expect that Andy's competent enough and capable enough still to be able to move the ball down the field. They'll score a touchdown. It's terrible that the bar is that low, but I'm telling you, I definitely expect that to happen. The bigger thing is, and man, hey man, what's up, Tom? Man, my dog, man, terrible time in the building. What's going on, big dog? What's going on, man? But the bigger question for this, as far as this Bryce Young situation is going, I'm gonna get on out of here and wrap this up. But what's this mean for his future? Because the coaching staff, the GM, all these people that are in Carolina right now, they're new. They're not invested. They weren't a part of the fiasco that was trading away all your draft capital, trading away several big name players that are performing very well now outside of your building. They weren't a part of all that mess, so it's easy for them to kind of come in, wash their hands of the situation, and just start fresh. Like, hey man, that ain't on me, man. Drafting a 5'8", 170-pound quarterback, man, that ain't on me. That's what Dave went in there. That's what Canales went in there and said to Dave Tepper, like, hey man, look, I don't know what y'all had going on before I got here. That ain't on me, man. That ain't on me. Give me the red rifle. Give me the red rocket and Andy Dalton, man. At least for the time being. And so, realistically, man, and y'all feel free to chime in and let me know what y'all think, but I don't necessarily know if I want to say. I mean, it's hard to imagine Bryce Young reclaiming that starting position there in Carolina. I mean, we've seen, especially these last couple years, it feels like there's been more of these like high profile, highly drafted and touted receivers that are probably failing or burning out or fizzling out more so than they're succeeding. And so Bryce Young now being a Heisman winner, a national champion at Alabama, number 1 pick, like I said, you sold the house for him, traded away tons of capital, traded away C-Mac to San Francisco. We see what he's doing, an offensive player of the year style of player. You trade away DJ Moore to Chicago. It's rough for him this year, but we see what he did last year. Stud. Man, you trade away Brian Burns for pennies on the dollar when you had multiple first-round picks offered to you from the Rams the year prior, and you turn those down. I mean, so it's been blunder after blunder by that front office. And then, like I said, all that gets compounded when you trade all those assets, you use all that draft capital, and then you miss. You take a big swing and you get a big miss, or at least to this point. And so I would imagine, man, I would imagine, barring an injury to Andy Dalton, man, he's probably done. He's probably done in Carolina. And honestly, it begs the question: does he have much of a future anywhere else? So we've seen some of these guys that have kind of burned out find second life in the league. I'm talking about guys like Sam Darnold right now in Minnesota. You know what I mean? Baker Mayfield, my dog, right now in Tampa Bay. Geno Smith, you know what I mean? Didn't write him back. Geno had to wait 8 years to get his, you know what I'm saying, to get his redemption. And now he's got it in Seattle. So we've seen it happen, but it generally doesn't happen quickly, and it still doesn't happen often. You know what I mean? Because those three guys that we can name, right now, because these names are fresh, but there's a quarterback graveyard, a long list of guys that never got another day in the sun. And so, is that where Bryce Young is destined for? And another thing too, another thing that's always going to be working against Bryce Young, even from those guys, is his size. It's really a hindrance for him. At least when you're watching the play, it's really a hindrance. And so even a guy like Baker Mayfield may as well be a giant compared to Bryce Young, and he's a nose over 6 foot. You know what I mean? And so Bryce Young is, well, I don't give a damn what they say, what he's listed at, or whatever the case. And I think they call him 5'10" and change, or 5'11". No, look at, man, I'm gonna call the boy 5'8", $170, man. And just take it how it is. But yeah, man. So he doesn't have that style of, he doesn't have the desired size already. And if you're not going to have the desired or prerequisite size, then you got to be special. You got to be Kyler Murray. If you're going to be 5'9", 5'10", you got to be Kyler Murray. You got to be a fantastic athlete, type of athlete that gets drafted top 10 in baseball. Playing 2 years of baseball since you were in high school, you go in the top 10 of the MLB draft. You got to be that type of special. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a nose over 6 foot like a Baker Mayfield, you got to have a cannon. You got to have a gun. You know what I mean? You got to have something to you to help compensate for everything else that you're not giving. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't have that. He can't lean on just supreme or superior athleticism or arm talent, much like a Kyler Murray or even a Baker Mayfield is able to do, even though they may be, especially Kyler Murray, you know what I mean? Extremely small for the position. And so I don't know, man. I think given his skill set, the things he does well, or the things that he previously had done well at Alabama, he came into this league as a very accurate quarterback. He had very good pocket awareness. He was able to work on schedule and excel off schedule as well. When he buys himself time, he's able to get the ball downfield. So those things that he has shown in college, we haven't seen any of that to this point in Carolina. But places that may take a flyer on him, like I said, my Steelers just got Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick. So if and when he does hit the market, I think somebody is going to take a swing on him if the price is right. You know what I'm saying? For, a 6th or 7th round pick, something of that ilk. You know what I mean? Somebody may say, yeah, can't hurt. Zach Wilson got picked up after he got let go from the Jets. And I was a Zach Wilson fan coming into the draft. It is what it is. I had Zach Wilson as my number 1 QB coming into that draft over Trevor Lawrence. I honestly, and not that Trevor has set the world on fire at all, but he's a $50 million quarterback right now. But yeah, so we've seen, Trevor Lawrence go number 2 and let go before his 3rd year as well. And so now he's somewhere on the backside of the Broncos roster, and we'll see what becomes of him. But all that said, easy targets for maybe Bryce Young having an eventual soft landing spot somewhere. The Dolphins, the Niners, Vikings. And I say those 3 teams, or maybe even the Rams as well, if they want to storm on the back of that roster, because those are teams with fantastic offensive minded coaches, guys that are their systems are very scheme friendly, and so they take a lot of the pressure off of the quarterback of having to go above and beyond to get the job done. Like, nah, man, if you can get in here, you can learn this system, you can execute, you can thrive and do well. So we've seen guys like Kirk Cousins, we're seeing a Brock Purdy, we've seen a Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. We've seen guys be able to get into the systems with these style of coaches and execute and thrive, even if they're not all, premier athletes at the position. And so those are the type of places he's gonna have to wind up at for sure. Let me see. What my dog Tom talking about, man? Said he doesn't show any above average physical traits. Yeah, not at all. 5'9", buck 70, not overly quick, not fast. Arm isn't overly strong. I mean, yeah, man, he's got to be a surgeon. You know what I mean? You better be a surgeon. If you're gonna be undersized, underweight, under athletic, then you've got to be a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, another guy left off that, a guy like Russell Wilson, 5'11", but for one, built like a running back, and was a professional baseball player as well, like the Kyler route. And so if you're not going to have those type of things, then, even a guy like Drew Brees, who we consider undersized, he's 3 inches taller than Bryce Young. And he didn't have supreme athleticism or supreme arm talent either, but he was deathly accurate with the football, and he was able to thrive in a well executed offensive structure. So that's the path that Bryce Young's got to take, man, if he's gonna have a chance. But like I said, I don't know. And what's funny is, I don't know if it was last Wednesday show or maybe even this past Sunday show where I was kind of joking or teasing, at the expense of Bryce Young. And I was saying, like, man, he's going to be a hell of a CFL quarterback. He's going to do some crazy numbers in Canada. He's going to light the UFL. He's going to light the UFL on fire. You know what I mean? I was making those style of jested jokes at his expense. And now, especially with this news, now that they're pulling the plug, man, that might not be so far outside of what he's got coming. I mean, that might be more so maybe the path he has to go. Hey, man, look, shout out to my dog, Tommy. You heard what he said. He said there's 80 y'all in here, only 3 of y'all to hit the like button, man. Y'all see what's going on, man. Take the time, help your dog out, hit the like button, man. Shout out to my dog, Tom, man. Shout out to my dog. Hit the like button for your dog, man. I need and appreciate it. I thank you in advance. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to my dog, Tom, man. Now let's go ahead and get into these games, man. Let's talk some ball a little bit, man. Enough of Bryce Young going to the bench. I hope it works out for him. Honestly, in Carolina, last thing I'm going to say about it, I do think Andy's going to do relatively well, you know what I mean, considering, and like I said, man, if anything, you got to tear Bryce Young down to studs. If you're Dave Canales, there should be no plan for him to touch or see the field again at all. Like I said, at least for these next 8 weeks or so, and they got to tear him down to studs, man. Rebuild every single thing and just start fresh, start from scratch, and see if you can salvage, see what you can salvage, if there's any way to, if there's any hope of keeping that party going in Carolina. But moving on, man, game number 1. Fresh out the box, New Orleans goes to Dallas and puts all paws on the Cowboys in their home opener, 41-19. Very impressive, very impressive, very impressive. I got to say it 3 times. This is going to be 4 times. Very impressive performance by New Orleans on the road. And Dallas, thing about Dallas, they have one of the better win-loss percentages or records at home. I think they had a crazy streak where they had been like undefeated at home for like the last 2 seasons. I'm trying to remember if they had somewhere in these last 2 or 3 years, they had a 2-year at home undefeated streak. I'm trying to remember if it got broke last year, 1 game, or if this was the game that broke the streak and made it 2 seasons. But whatever the case, they generally play very well in Dallas, but not the case in this game. New Orleans comes out almost immediately and just jumps right on them, jumps all over them. Explosive play after explosive play. Let me get a few numbers. Matter of fact, let me get a few numbers. Here we go. Derek Carr goes for 243 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Does throw an interception in this game, but star of this show for sure, Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, welcome back for one. Welcome back, bruh, because you fell off. Ain't no way else to say it. I was on your head all last season. My dog Chopper tell you, man, I wouldn't give you no slack. I was like, man, I don't know what happened to the guy that was at one time one of the elites, a top 5 guy, a guy you thought you could put the team on his back and you know what I mean, and get production and have him stay competitive in that way. And he didn't show that. But I tell you what, he's back rolling now. It looks just as good as he ever did. 115 yards on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns, another 65 yards receiving, another touchdown in the air as well. Brought about by a roughly 60-yard screen pass that he takes to the crib. A 4-touchdown day, absolutely dominant. Shout out to Raheem Shaheed. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Shout out to that guy on the Saints roster, man, because he's really starting to really emerge as a true, legitimate, top of the league style of deep threat. Takes the Cowboys up top early in this one for 70 yards, for a 70-yard touchdown, finishes with 96 yards on the day. Chris Olave also had a very productive day as well. I mean, the Saints, by the time halftime got around here, the Saints had already lit up the board and were in firm control of this game. I think it was 35-16 at halftime in this game. So Saints come out are in firm control. Do not relinquish that control, of course, for the rest of this one. After halftime, Saints score one more touchdown. They mix an extra point. The Cowboys only put another field goal on the board for the whole second half. Dak in this one, rough outing, 293 passing yards, the 1 touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, which was the one bright spot in this game. CeeDee Lamb makes a good catch, breaks a tackle, is able to take it up the sideline and get an explosive touchdown play for the Cowboys. I want to say it was in the second quarter, back when it looked like maybe the Cowboys were gonna like finally kind of wake up. I think it was like 21-12 or 21-13 after that touchdown, and then that was that one last gap. That was all they had. They shot that one bullet in the second quarter, and that was all they had. But Lamb goes 90 yards in the touchdown, including that one. No production in the run game from Zeke or Dowdle, and that defense from the Cowboys, man, stars on that defense. Michael Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, headlined by those guys. Tank Lawrence. They've got some decent names on that defense. They had no answers at all for what the Saints put together offensively. Completely dominant performance. And shout out to Clint Kubiak, man. Shout out to Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Saints, came over from the Niners, brought that offense to New Orleans, and we see just 2 weeks in, I think, are they averaging 40 points a game? That first week against the Panthers, and so, you could take that with a grain of salt. It's the Panthers. But to go to Dallas and put it on Dallas much the same way that you did the Panthers, man, that's impressive. And so shout out to them, shout out to Clint Kubiak. And honestly, I don't know where he's going to be coaching next year, but I don't imagine it's going to be in New Orleans. And so they'll have to figure something else at the offensive coordinator position for sure. What my dog Tom said, man, he's still in shock about Dak. Man, look, no, I'm not gonna lie, man. I think Dak is. I mean, oh no, that's my auntie who said that. I'm sorry. My auntie said that. I don't know why I said Tom. She said she's still in shock about Dak. I'm not gonna say that Dak's gonna be productive. First off, he just got 60 M's. You know what I mean? He had to pull Jerry's teeth. Jerry got 4 teeth left. Dak had to pull 2 of them. He had to pull 2 of the last 4 to get that contract. He just got it, 2 days before the season started. $60 million a year over 4. So Dak's gonna produce. He's gonna put up his numbers. I don't doubt that. But yeah, they just got to put on him in this game. No way around it for sure. But I think Dak's gonna be all right. Dak's gonna finish somewhere around 4,500 passing yards, upwards of 30 touchdowns. Dak's gonna be Dak, and we'll see how far it gets him. But they've definitely got to figure something out, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And also, they've got to find a dependable running mate to CeeDee Lamb in that offense as well, especially if you're not going to run the ball at all. So we'll see what they get done there. Moving on, Indiana goes to Green Bay and takes an L. And shout out to Malik Willis, man. I remember when Malik Willis was came into the league 3 years ago. I want to say that horrendous quarterback, one of the worst quarterback drafts that we've seen in the last 10, 20 years, headlined by Kenny Pickett, who my Steelers took over Malik Willis. Neither of these guys were phenomenal options. I preferred Willis to Pickett as far as for my Steelers, but not in the first round. He doesn't end up, we get Kenny Pickett in the first. Malik Willis, I think, ends up going in the third to the Titans, and yeah, they move on pretty quickly from him. He also was a small school guy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he had much of a chance at all in Tennessee, being realistic. Anyway, gets picked up by Green Bay off the well, he might have even been on the practice squad at Tennessee. They'd already cut him and sent him to the practice squad. LaFleur must have seen something in him that he liked, picked him up off that practice squad. He was the primary backup. He's QB2 to Jordan Love. You probably don't expect to have had to, have to play him at all this early. We know what happened with Jordan Love, gets injured at the end of week 1. And so now Malik Willis makes his first. This might not even be his first start. I think he might have been forced to start in Tennessee. But anyway, makes his first start with Green Bay. He's been there for maybe 2 weeks. Like I said, he was picked up off the Titans practice squad. And he did. You can't ask for any better than what he gave you if you're Green Bay. For one, you won the game. So if your backup quarterback is starting or in any game that your backup quarterback has to play and take live snaps, you want it to be a W. And so mission 1 was accomplished. They get a win. He performed very well. 12 of 14, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. And so he also added another 40 yards on the ground as well. And so was very smart and judicious with the ball for sure. A lot of that 12 or 14 in the buck 20 was done within 12 yards, 10 to 12 yards of line of scrimmage, if that. He had the one shot play. He took up the right sideline to, I think that was Wicks, one of the young Green Bay receivers, who made a fantastic catch with up and over the top of the cornerback, came down with probably I want to say that was roughly a 35, 40-yard pass. So he's got the one chunk play there. And then the touchdown pass was an out route, a catch and run out route, probably like a 8-yard, 12-yard out. Receiver catches it and then runs an additional like 12 yards or so into the end zone. Good pace on that ball as well, because that's one of those passes, if you don't have a strong enough arm, that's probably going back the other way. And so the ball, he gets it right past the defender's fingertips. Like I said, probably thanks more so to his arm strength, but great placement, catch and run touchdown. So he gets in the paint as well. But great job by him there. Shout out to Matt LaFleur as well, utilizing him well, keeping things simple. They relied heavily on the run game. Josh Jacobs has a huge day in this one. 32 carries, 151 rushing yards in this game. Fantastic day for him. He did have a fumble in the if I'm remembering right, I thought he might have had a fumble in the end zone. I could be thinking of a different game. Don't hold me to that. But he had a very productive day on the ground. And then the biggest thing here, also that defense definitely found a way to take away the ball. Anthony Richardson, man, terrible performance for him. There's no other way to say it. 50% passing, 17 for 34, 200 yards in the air, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Does give you another 37 yards on the ground rushing. Jonathan Taylor was a productive day with limited touches, only 12 carries, goes over 100 yards. But the biggest thing for this game, time of possession, ball control. Green Bay did that. 5 stars there. They had the ball. They controlled the clock for 40 minutes to 20 minutes in this game. And so that's fantastic. The Colts had less than a quarter and a half of offensive football, whereas the Packers played damn near a full game. And so ball control, time possession was critical, and not turning the ball over. They found a way to get that win. So kudos to Matt LaFleur and those Green Bay Packers. Now, Green Bay goes to Tennessee next week, and I don't think it's been confirmed whether or not I think it's trending that Malik Willis is going to start again, but I don't know if it's been like set in stone just yet. But I hope he does get a chance to go back to Tennessee, and I hope they get the dub, and I hope he shows out on Levis and those Titans, but we'll see. Speaking of Will Levis's Titans, the New York Jets go to Tennessee, find a way to get a dub, 24-17. Let's see if there's anything worth talking about in this game. No, you know what I want to talk about in this game? Braylon Allen, man. Braylon Allen, rookie running back from Wisconsin, I want to say. So he's a big back, man. He's roughly 6 foot. I want to say he's roughly 230 pounds. So he's a very big, solid explosive back. And man, he's in his limited touches. He's shares splits the fit backfield with Breece Hall for sure. They're developing a nice 1-2 punch there with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. Breece Hall has 33 rushing yards and a touchdown, a 20-yard touchdown run. He also has another 20 yards receiving touchdown as well. But he's got some already in his young career. He's 2 games in, but he's got some decent some decent thump in these runs, man. He's not shy about contact. He will put his shoulder down and dive in somebody's chest. So I love it. And like I said, the more he gets involved in this offense, the better. Like I said, especially getting to pair him with the explosiveness that you get from Breece Hall. Breece Hall goes 60 yards on the ground, another 50 in the air, has a touchdown himself in this game. Will McDonald on that Jets defensive line has 3 sacks in this game. And so they go on the road to Tennessee and get a dub for sure. Moving on. Next up, San Francisco at Minnesota. Minnesota gets this done, man, in a bit of an upset, so to say, for sure. I don't think much of anybody outside of a Vikings fan probably would chose the Niners to lose this game. But Minnesota, they've handled the Niners more so. Like this score, it's a 1-score game as far as the scoreboard reads. But honestly, it felt like San Francisco, especially defensively, had to fight and claw to maybe kind of stay in this one or to keep it close more so than it being just a back and forth competitive game. Or maybe that's just the feel I got in looking at this one. Shout out to Sam Darnold, man. Speaking of reclamation projects, we were just talking about Bryce Young, but shout out to Sam Darnold, who's 2 games into this, to this season as a starter, but he's playing well. He's playing well. He's hoping to be this year's Baker Mayfield. Get somewhere on a 1-year deal, play well enough to get yourself a contract. And if you can get a quarterback contract, you can get yourself 30 M's, because that's just what they're going for. This is a $30 million a year season for Sam Darnold. He's got $30 million on the line. We just saw Baker Mayfield, reclaim his prior glory, and now he got 3 for 90. You know what I mean? $30 million a year for Tampa Bay. So Sam Darnold is looking at that, is like, man, look, ain't no reason that can't be me. And he's putting his best foot forward 2 weeks into the season. He does have a turnover in this with those interception, but still, he made some great throws in this game. He goes 268 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns. Now, he did get the 97-yard touchdown to Justin Jefferson. Best in the business. You know what I mean? Just the best. The best there is. Best there was. He wakes up in the morning. Y'all know the rest of it. Piss is excellence. If you haven't seen Talladega Nights. But so you get backed up in your own end zone. You throw a deep post to Justin Jefferson with two safeties back there. So it's a pass that shouldn't be attempted, let alone completed. And then Justin Jefferson catches it around midfield and does the rest himself. Takes it 50 yards to the house for a 97-yard touchdown. He does end up leaving the game with tightness in his quad, I think, but nothing is supposed to be lingering. But all told, Sam Darnold is playing very well. Ty Chandler has a big day on the ground for the Vikings, 82 yards on 10 carries. And then for the Niners, Brock Purdy goes over 300 yards, throws a touchdown in this one, also throws an interception, loses a fumble as well. Jordan Mason, man, shouted him out after week 1, being an undrafted guy, stepping in for the guy at the top of the position in C-Mac, who's injured, and stepping up to the plate, performing the way he did against the Jets week 1. He runs it back, man. Another terrific performance for him as far as just the numbers tell us. 20 carries in this game. He does get to 100 yards, gets a touchdown. Now, he does turn the ball over. He loses a fumble in this one. But when you've got an undrafted third-year running back that's able to he's got 250 yards in the first 2 weeks and 2 or 3 touchdowns. There's not much more you can ask for him outside of holding on to the ball. Like I said, he did turn the ball over in this one. Deebo Samuels leads the way in the receiving room for the Niners, has an over 100-yard day. Kittle has 76 yards and a touchdown in this one. Brandon Ayuk still hasn't kind of found his groove or got going just yet. We know the holdout in his journey over this offseason as he was trying to get some bread from the Niners and John Lynch in that front office. So he's still yet to kind of find his groove just yet. But highlight in this one for sure, Fred Warner. Fred Warner had a terrific day. Solidified. I think he's already been the number 1 guy as far as stacked linebackers go in the league by most popular opinion. And so just, if anything, he's just doing 2 weeks to the season. He's already separating himself even further. Fantastic day. 9 tackles, 1 for loss, has a sack, picks off a ball, forces 2 fumbles, also has 2 PBUs. So completely filled up the stat sheet on the defensive side of the ball, and just had a fantastic day. Nick Bosa as well has 2 sacks in this game. But like I said, man, the kudos to the Vikings for going out there and really taking it to the San Francisco, man, and getting a very impressive win in their home opener. Keeping it pushing. Oh, sis in the building, she said that was an awesome play. I think she's talking about the Justin Jefferson touchdown. Yeah, man. Yeah. No, that's Jettas, man. That's why he's the best. That's why he's a $35 million kid, man. That boy's the best. That boy good. What movie is that? That boy good. Y'all should know. Let me see. She said, my boy struggled with this one. I was rooting for San Fran. Okay, yeah, San Fran in this game. Yeah, no, I mean, you and me both, man. I picked San Francisco to win that game as well. And yeah, Minnesota had something for him. So kudos to Kevin O'Connell and that offensive staff. Kudos to Brian Flores. That defense is playing damn good. Well, I think this is year 3 for Flores. Now with these Vikings, and man, he's got them cooking, man. So kudos to those Vikings, and especially looking at this early success, man. The Vikings gonna fool around, make some noise in that NFC North. So I'm anxious to see, I'm anxious to see just how their season unfolds. See, Seattle goes to New England and gets a very tough, hard-fought win in overtime against the Patriots, 23-20. Big day from DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, week 1, more or less got shut down by Patrick Surtain. Not to be delayed or stopped in this one. 10 for 129 and a touchdown, 56-yard touchdown in this game. Geno goes for over 300 yards, the 1 touchdown there. Jackson Smith-Njigba, number 1 drafted receiver, in last year's draft was the top drafted receiver in that class. Didn't really make much noise his rookie year. I think has his career day in this one, 12 catches, 117 yards. And then for the Patriots, the run game definitely being the crux of their success in this one. Antonio Gibson goes 96 yards on 11 carries. Ramondre Stevenson goes another 81 yards on 20 carries, gets a touchdown in this one as well. And so they definitely fought hard. Credit to Jared Mayo. Week 1, you get a surprising win over Joe Burrow's Bengals. And then now you, not that the Seahawks are, a juggernaut at all, but yet and still, just from the preseason expectations of these Patriots, they've already surprised, I think, much of our the things we expected to see from them. The fact that they beat those Bengals is definitely impressive. These Bengals that we just saw take the defending champ Chiefs to the brink, the Patriots beat that team on the road, and then you take another team to overtime to the brink right there, and they're the team that's not overly talented themselves. And so that's a credit to Jared Mayo and that coaching staff, man, for getting those Patriots, keeping those Patriots competitive and getting those guys to show up and play hard. So kudos there. Moving on, the Giants on the road in Washington. Won't spend too much time here. Washington gets this win, 21-18. All field goals in this one. 7 field goals from the Washington kicker. Matter of fact, when you kick 7 field goals, I got to say your name. Austin Seibert goes 7 for 7 and gets this one done, 21-18. First victory for starting rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. He doesn't get a touchdown in this one. Goes over 200 yards passing, another 40 yards or so rushing. And then a big day for Brian Robinson, running back from the Commanders. He goes 133 yards on 17 carries in this one. And then on the other side, bright spot, Daniel Jones didn't turn the ball over. I guess that's a bright spot there. Those 2 touchdowns. And Malik Neighbors, my wide receiver 1, coming into this past draft, he has a 100-yard day. He goes 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touchdown in this one as well. So kudos there. Moving on, man. Look, we moving and grooving. Moving on. The Chargers go on the road to Carolina. We already did a lot of talking about Carolina, what they got going on for Bryce Young. We know how ugly the ball is there. Chargers going there, don't have any issues. They win 26-3. The run game for the Chargers, same success we saw them have in week 1. They bring it right back. J.K. Dobbins, man on a mission. He's had, 4 years in the league. 2 of them he's lost to injury. I wanted 4 or 5 years. Maybe this is his 5th year, but I'm very happy for him to see him finally healthy and producing and dominating. I mean, it's just 2 games in, but he is a man playing with his hair on fire. 17 carries, 130 yards, another touchdown in this one. The Gus Edwards. Like I said, the Chargers are Baltimore West. You know what I mean? They bring over both J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. the old coordinator from Baltimore. Why can I never say his name when I'm talking to y'all? Why can I never remember the offensive coordinator from Baltimore's name? He's in with the Chargers now. Gosh, Lee. Anyway, they bring that old Baltimore run heavy approach, and it's working this far in the season. Gus Edwards has another 18 carries, another 60 yards on the ground there. Quentin Johnston, 1 year in, or this is second season, but last season left a lot to be desired. There were already those bust whispers coming about. He gets to the paint twice in this game, 5 for 51, touches paint twice. So, great day for him. And then on the other side, Bryce Young, and what appears to be his last start for the foreseeable future, 18 for 26 for 84 passing yards and 1 interception. So, yeah, that was the game. That's the film. The Dave Canales went home that night, thought about 4 of them plays, and said, you know what, enough of this, and pulled the plug. And so we'll see how long it takes for Bryce Young, if and when he gets to make another return to the field and redeem himself. Moving on, Cleveland goes on the road to Jacksonville. They get this dub, 18-13. Competitive game in this one. Deshaun goes 186 yards in the air, no touchdowns or turnovers. Does have another 20 yards on the ground, rushing touchdown. Jerry Jeudy leads the receiver room with 70 yards receiving. On the other side, Trevor Lawrence, 220 yards, another 40 on the ground. Travis Etienne, 52 yards and a touchdown. And then Brian Thomas Jr., 94 yards in this one on only 2 catches. So definitely super explosive. We knew this coming in. They got to find a way to get the ball in his hands. A guy finishes with damn near 100 yards. He only touched the ball twice. So they've got to do something to find a way to get the ball in his hands, because he's definitely the guy that should be your top playmaker in this offense. Moving on. Now, here's another one. Here's probably if the Patriots beating the Bengals was the upset of week 1. No, I'd say week 2 had a few upsets as well. Minnesota beating San Francisco, I think, is an upset in most people's minds. And then in this one here, the Raiders upsetting Baltimore at home is another one in this one. Oh, my dog Tom chimed in, and he said Deshaun looked good in that game. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over. Wait, what was those stats, man? I think he was less than 200 yards, didn't turn the ball over, did get in the paint on 20 rushing yards. I mean, he's another one of these guys, man. The bar is set so low. You know what I mean? Like, prime Deshaun sees the game that this current Deshaun just played, and he's like, man, that's one half of football's production. You know what I mean? That game stat line was a half of football for prime Deshaun Watson, man. Look, that's how far he's fallen. You know what I'm saying? That's how far he's fallen, Tom. We can't celebrate that, man. Deshaun used to put those numbers up in one half of football, man. He got to do better than that. When they give you 240 guaranteed, I want to see something else, man. I want to see a little more. I am glad that he looked competent, though, because there was some throws in week 1, some airmail throws, some throws he just missed or super late on. And so he definitely did clean up his play from week 1 for sure. But, man, he still got a long way to go, man. And the good thing about it is that roster is still supremely talented. That's still a top 10 defense they've got there as well. And so there's definitely an avenue for him to be successful there in that team. But, man, he's got to find that mojo, man. He's got to do something to find that mojo. My dog Tom said 18 for 26 ain't bad. Man, it is when you throw for 84 yards in an interception. Man, come on, man. 26 attempts for 84 yards? That's less than 3 yards an attempt. No, that's like less than 4 yards an attempt. It's like 3.5 yards an attempt per pass attempt. That's horrendous. His pass attempts averaged less than 4 yards per pass attempt. It's terrible. It's inexcusable. Hell no. Hell no, man. You might go 18 for 26 if I told you to throw the ball. If I didn't let you throw the ball further than 5 yards up the field. I don't know, man. But now get into this Raiders and Baltimore game. This was an entertaining game to watch. Baltimore. I mean, I gotta feel like Baltimore kind of let this one slip through their fingers. Let me talk about the winners, man. Gardner Minshew goes 30 for 38, 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Devontae Adams has has a solid game, 110 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. Blake, is it Blake? Yeah, no, Brock. There we go. Brock Bowers, rookie tight end from University of Georgia, 2 weeks into the year, and he's playing like, if not he may be playing like the best tight end in football right now. Has another 98 yards in this one. Gets tackled on the 1 yard line, or so say. He didn't get a touchdown on a very impressive catch and run attempt he had. That I think they mark him down at the 1 yard line, so he doesn't get a touchdown. But yeah, 9 for 98. Highly touted. He's been the number one guy at the position in college football for the last 2 years before he was finally draft eligible. And then even when the Raiders drafted him, it was thought to be a relatively surprising pick because they had already spent an early draft pick on Michael Myers, a second round tight end they drafted out of Notre Dame, who was considered to be the top tight end in his class. And then you follow that up the very next year and you go get Brock Bowers. But at the time when they made the pick, I wasn't a fan of the pick, not because of the player, but because of the fit and the need, and that type of thing. But the Raiders are proving themselves right. Like I said, like they're not worried about positional value. They weren't worried about, well, we've already drafted a guy. Like, nah, man, this is the best player on the board. Let's go get him. And like I said, and he's paying dividends. And so he's playing damn good, man. He's playing damn good ball. Looks great, and was crucial and played a critical role in this victory for the Raiders on the road against Baltimore. Defensively, Max Crosby has a bounce back week. He gets stonewalled or shut out last week by rookie Joe Alt. So comes back this week against a revamped Ravens offensive line and gets busy. 2 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss. And so, back to being the guy that we expect to see when you're watching any type of Max Crosby film. Has himself a day. Shout out to Robert Spillane, man. Former Steeler. I'm very happy for him. He has an interception on Lamar in this game as well. And so, that defense definitely came to play in some of the critical moments. And, yeah, man, they did enough to get this one done. On the other side, Lamar and the Ravens. Lamar goes for 250 yards in the air, 1 touchdown. The interception of Robert Spillane I just talked about. Another 40 yards on the ground. Derrick Henry. This is the thing. So you would think it was a much more successful day running the ball, looking at these numbers, than it was otherwise, because Derrick Henry finishes with 18 for 84 and 1 touchdown. But it was a lot of tough going. He had 1 explosive run for roughly 30 yards. So, I mean, that's what, 40 or so percent of his total yardage on the day on that 1 run. We take that run away, and he's 17 for 55. You know what I mean? And so it's a very, pedestrian day. Does get a touchdown on the goal line there. But here's the thing about it. So to start the fourth quarter, Baltimore scores a touchdown, takes a lead in this game, takes a 10-point lead in this game. Baltimore is at home with a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you've got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in your backfield. In my mind, you salt this game away. In my mind, Derrick Henry beats these boys to sleep. Derrick Henry finishing with 18 touches, 18 rushes in a game you were up by 10 in the fourth quarter, and then a game you end up losing, makes me beg the question, okay, well, what are we doing? Why, for one, why is Derrick Henry here, if not for this moment? To put away teams when we've got them. You know what I mean? To not put the complete onus of the win on Lamar Jackson's shoulders. You know what I mean? To not force feed, not to have to have force feed. Not to have Lamar have to force feed the ball to receivers, that underperforming receivers, or do too much of the leg work on the ground himself. So this is exactly the game in which Derrick Henry was supposed to show his value. Derrick Henry should have finished this game with 32 carries. That's the type of game I want to see. I want to see them put this one away when you up 10 at home, coming back, looking for revenge, looking to get some get back because you lose a tough, hard-fought game on the road against what's turning into your nemesis in Kansas City. You lose that one. You gave it your all in that one. It was an early season Super Bowl for y'all, the way y'all approached that game, and you lose this one on the strength of Lamar missing 2 open touchdowns, should have been called, and then Isaiah Likely's big toe being on the line on the third attempt that would have probably gave you a chance to put yourself in a position to win that game. So you're looking for some get back to get that bad taste out your mouth. You're at home. You get what should have been a very beatable Raiders team, a Raiders team that just had the ball ran down their throat the week before by the Los Angeles Chargers. And you know what's special about that Chargers team? They got half of Baltimore's old roster on that Chargers team. They running Baltimore's old offense. Baltimore, this was teed up. This was supposed to be Derrick Henry's day. You know what I'm saying? J.K. Dobbins hit them boys for $150 just last week. Just $150 just last week. And y'all get a 10-point lead at the crib in the fourth quarter, and Derrick Henry finished with 18 touchdowns for 84 yards. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What my dog Tom say, man? Hold on, my dog Tom in the chat. Let's see what he got for him. He said Joe Alt might get a gold jacket. Hey, man, come on, man. It's 2 games in, man. It's 2 games, dog. I mean, hey, man, we got to chill. One of those games against Max Crosby, he did his thing. I mean, I got to give it to him. He played damn good against Max Crosby for sure. Week 2, he went against the Panthers. You know, it is what it is. Man, you can go out there and get 2 sacks, get the Panthers, bro. Hey, we might. But now we'll see. We'll see this coming week, man. He's got TJ Watt and my Steelers coming up this week. And so, man, yeah, he shuts out Max Crosby and then follows that up and shuts out TJ Watt. Then, man, hey, you might be on to something. I'm not gonna say you're on something as far as gold jacket goes, but you might be on to something as far as this guy's a future perennial all pro if you start stonewalling guys like TJ Watt and Max Crosby. But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see. What Renee said, she said Lamar showed bad sportsmanship at the end of the game. I don't know what I don't. Well, I can't remember. I'm not sure what you're talking about now, but I ain't gonna lie, man. Emotions are high. Emotions are high. Those losses hurt. Sometimes you just ain't got it. Sometimes you just got to get in there. Sometimes you just got to get to the locker room, get everybody out your face. Sis said Derrick Henry just big for no reason. No, it's a reason. It's definitely a reason, but Baltimore got to give him the ball. I mean, like I said, Baltimore got to give him the ball. And so, yeah, he definitely big for a reason. But no, all told, like I said, impressive win on the road, especially by these Raiders. I fully expected the Raiders to go down 0-2. They lost week 1 against the Chargers. Like I said, the Chargers ran the ball all day long, and then you're going to Baltimore. Honestly, I thought this was going to be teed up for Derrick Henry to really kind of get his feet wet and kind of dominate this game the way that J.K. Dobbins did this defense last week. Not at all the case. They get this done. Like I said, the Raiders scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to take the lead and win this game on the road. And so if you're Baltimore now, if you're a Baltimore fan, you gotta wonder, man, do we need to be worried? We down 0-2. It's one thing. Maybe you couldn't have count. Maybe you didn't count on that Chiefs win. You wanted it, but you didn't put it in the bank. I think opening at home against the Raiders with Gardner Minshew coming to town, I think you got to think that's a dub. I think that's one you got to put in the bank, and then you lose this one. So now you're down 0-2. You tied for last place in the AFC North. Man, I don't know, man. This team is way too talented to officially count out, but it is what it is, man. The numbers tell us, and for the Bengals as well when we get to them. But to start the year 0-2, the chances of making the playoffs are it's like less than 20%. I mean, you know what I mean? That number is there for a reason. And so it's such an uphill climb or battle that they've kind of put themselves in. So we'll see how they bounce back. They've definitely got to get it rolling and got to get it rolling quickly. So moving on to another one, man. Arizona puts it on the Rams 41-10. And this was almost my game of the week. If y'all remember on Sunday, this was almost my game of the week because I expected this one to be entertaining. I thought there'd be a lot of offense in this game, but I thought it'd be a lot of offense on both sides, is what I was thinking. But no, this is a one-sided offensive affair. But still entertaining to watch, man, for these Cardinals. Kyler Murray is playing fantastic football right now. Kyler Murray is definitely 2 games into the season. He's playing at a top 5 level, top 3 level. There's not many guys playing better than Kyler Murray is right now, just 2 weeks into the season, if you ask me. Lights out performance in this one as well. Goes 17 for 21, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, has another 60 yards on the ground. Took a lot, and there's the thing about this one as well. And I talked about it on Sunday, also on my Sunday morning pregame show. But he took a little heat in the media last week for not getting Marvin Harrison Jr. to football or not getting him involved. Marvin Harrison Jr. had one catch last week for, I think, like one catch for 4 yards. Kyler's response when asked about it was like, it's not my job to just get him the ball. And a lot of media took that and really ran with it. And I think, honestly, I think I get what he was trying to say. Like, yeah, it's my job as the quarterback to get Marvin Harrison the ball. You know what I mean? So, I mean, of course, I'm the quarterback. It's my job to get everybody the ball. But that's exactly what he was getting at. Like, it's not my job just to get Marvin the ball. It's my job to just distribute the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I get what he was trying to say. They put all that to bed to start this game. Marvin Harrison has 4 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the first half of this game. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think he might have got both those touchdowns in the first quarter. He may have. He definitely he did all that work in the first half for sure. So they come out, they get that understood. Kyler had to probably let somebody in the media know, like, man, don't play with me. Don't even play with me like that, man. And so they go up top. One of those touchdowns is a 60-yard touchdown. The other one was a 23-yard strike. I'm at the very back line of the end zone. And kudos and credit to Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a hell of a catch. Tremendous concentration, keeping your feet in bounds, and making that over the shoulder grab. I mean, just inches, millimeters of separation between, you know what I'm saying, touchdown and out of bounds play. So that was a fantastic throw in catch. Like I said, goes 4 for 130. Doesn't get any more catches or yardage in the second half, but did all his work in the first half of this one. And then I think Marvin Harrison was interviewed after the game, and because in this one, Kyler goes 17 for 21. He only has 4 incompletions. Well, all 4 of those incompletions were on second half, I think, pass attempts trying to get Marvin the ball back. And so Marvin had said something about that, like, yeah, man, he doesn't like that. The only time he threw an incompletion was when he's trying to get me the ball. And so, but we'll see how they build on that performance for sure. Dominant performance, exciting performance, especially offensively. James Conner had a big day in this one as well. Goes for over 120 yards on the ground. Also has a rushing touchdown. And so they just had everything going. I want to shout out a defender on the Cardinals as well. Dennis Gardock. Don't know you. Don't know where you from, homeboy. But you had 3 sacks in this game. So kudos. Shout out to you. You know what I mean? So you balled, man. You had a hell of a game. So I want to at least say your name, bro. So kudos to you. On the other side, man, tough day at the office for Matt Stafford. 216 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions in this one. Cooper Kupp finishes with 4 for 37. Of that 37, 24 of it came on one catch, one pass play, one catch. And then also he leaves this game with injury. And so Puka Nacua, the rookie sensation from last year, he's already he got hurt early in the first week, and he's out for, well, he's still out. I'm not sure the timeline on his return. And now Cooper Kupp, who started last year injured and then had to play like the second half of the season. Well, now he goes back down in this game as well. And so, we'll see just how long it takes for this team, if and when this team can get healthy, or at least get those guys back and give themselves a fighting chance. Because right now it's an uphill battle, especially defensively. That defense they've got to figure something out. And so we'll see what it looks like for the Rams this side of Aaron Donald's retirement. Moving on, man, my boys did what we had to do. Pittsburgh goes on the road to Denver, gets this dub 13-6. Won't spend too much time here. Like I said, unless you're a fan, man, this one probably didn't do much for you. But Justin Fields continues to play clean football. That's the biggest takeaway for me. It's not dynamic. It's not overly explosive, at least not in the stat sheet, but it's clean football. Take care of the ball. Do not turn the ball over. Do not get in the way of this defense getting us wins. And that's exactly what we did in this one. Najee and Jaylen Warren combined for 100 yards on the ground. And then this the second week in a row, man. The officiating hasn't been kind to my Steelers to this point in the season. We have a touchdown taken off the field Justin Fields throws a touchdown in this one to Darnell Washington, our big tight end, but he throws a second touchdown to George Pickens on this one. It gets called back from a bad offensive pass interference call. So we're running a rub route. Everybody knows what's going on with what the deal is. Denver guy runs straight into my rub route running receiver in Van Jefferson, runs straight into his chest, and then the referee throws the flag and calls it OPI instead of just letting it go because our guy didn't initiate contact, whatever the case. Takes a touchdown off the board. Another 50-yard pass play to George Pickens also gets taken off the board because of a hold in the backfield. So, but we've had, this early in the season, we've had 3 or 4 explosive plays taken away because of penalties for or against us. And so still hoping to like I said, man, to settle them in and keep this thing rolling. But for right now, man, it looks like this is going to be Justin's job for the foreseeable future. Russell Wilson and his injury to his calf or Achilles, definitely taking their time with it, not rushing him back at all, especially if Justin Fields is going to play clean football and we're going to find ways to win. And so Justin Fields definitely slated to start this coming week. We make our home opener against the Chargers. And so hopefully I see a little production in this one on the offensive side of the ball and we get this dub. Now, Cincinnati, here we go. Excellent game. These games always, it feels like these games always come down to the wire. These games always have some type of controversial call for or against one team or the other. And this one did not disappoint. Cincinnati lets this one slip through their fingers. They lose this game 26-25. Even that score, how the hell did even, we watched the game, but even this score, when's the last time there's ever been a 26-25 game? There's always something odd about these games, these matchups, but they always are very competitive and come down to the wire. Hold on, who just jumped in the chat? Isaiah in this thing, man. What's he talking about? Isaiah said, for certain OLB gets Stonewall Sunday, he's going to have a lot to say. Hey, you know what? And you missed it, man. I was just, when I talked about the Chargers, and matter of fact, my dog Tom said that I'm going to find his comment. He said, Joe Alt's on it, going to get a gold jacket. So, man, you got another Joe Alt fan in here for sure. But I'll tell you what, man, and this is what I was telling Tom as well. His performance against Max Crosby was extremely how did I just lose? Impressive. Golly, I lost my train of thought. Was extremely impressive, especially because we see in week 2, Max Crosby is back to the guy I expected to see week 1. He has 2 sacks and 4 tackles for a loss against the Ravens. And so kudos to Joe Alt for sure. If you asked me last year, I don't know who I was talking to, maybe right before the season started, talking about like edge players and everything. But TJ Watt and Max Crosby were my edge 1 and edge 2 coming into this season from last year. I think those guys both should have been first team All Pros. On my own personal first team All Pro, I had TJ and Max Crosby 1 and 2, and so those were the top guys. And matter of fact, I might have been talking to, I don't know who I was talking to, but I told somebody like I think I prefer him to Max. I think very highly of Max Crosby. So the performance from Joe Alt, Stonewall, and the way he did was very impressive. Can't knock it at all. And so I think the same thing I was telling Tom, like, man, if he runs that back against TJ, then hey, man, I'm gonna have to eat. I don't necessarily want to say eat my words because it's not that I was didn't think that Joe Alt was a talented guy. I wasn't sure how smoothly he would transition to the right side after having played left tackle at Notre Dame. I thought maybe that wouldn't be. I didn't expect that transition to go as smoothly as it did. But 2 weeks into the season, man, I can't knock it. I can't knock it or complain at all. But yeah, now I'm ready to see what he looks like, man. I'm ready to see what he looks. I was talking to you. I know I was just talking to somebody. I was like, man, I'm a fan of Max. Max is, man, look, Max is a baller, bro. So you already know what's going on, man. You already know how I feel about Max Crosby. There's not too many guys I'm taking ahead of Max Crosby. I'm taking TJ ahead of Max Crosby, and that's probably the end of that list. You know what I'm saying? Like his hand usage, his get off, his effort. You know what I mean? Like Max Crosby's the type of I like his body style, his length. You know what I'm saying? Pause. I don't want y'all to kill me in the chat. But you know what I'm saying? So I like I like Max Crosby a lot as a player, man, and so I think highly of him. And for Joe Alt to do what he did to Max Crosby, and then for Max Crosby to come out the next week and give me 4 tackles for a loss and 2 sacks, you know what I'm saying? He's still the guy I thought he was. That's definitely a credit and a kudos to Joe Alt for sure. Now he do this against TJ, bruh. He do this against TJ. Hey man, I had to give it to him, man. I had to get to. He might be one on ones. He might be one on ones, man. But like, yeah, this early in the season, he's like I said, 2 games in, man. He is as advertised. He's playing damn good ball. So credit and kudos to him. Getting back to this Chiefs Kansas City game, Patty hasn't been impressive, man. Patty started this. I mean, we're only 2 games in, but he's the offense started relatively slow, especially last year. Not even relatively. That offense struggled to get much of anything going until maybe the last month of the season, and then especially going into the playoffs where they definitely picked it up. But 2 weeks in, still not great at all. He wasn't great in this game by any stretch of the imagination. 150 passing yards, has the 2 interceptions, those 2 touchdowns, but does have the 2 interceptions in this one as well. I mean, just not at all lighting it up or being the guy or giving us the production we expect to see. If I say Patrick Mahomes, in your mind you just think 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. You think highlight play after highlight play. Well, we're not seeing that just yet. But no, they always find a way to get it done. That's one thing we can say about these Chiefs is that they've transitioned from a team that was going to run you out the gym to now we'll take our time. We'll let it be ugly, but let it be close in winning time, and we'll find a way to get it done. And so they did that week 1 in Baltimore. They did that again week 2 against Cincinnati. They just tend to make timely plays. We're of course going to talk about the play that kind of ended this game, but before that play, a big difference in this game, the sack fumble on Joe Burrow, recovered by Kansas City. They run it back 40 yards for a touchdown, and really, I mean, that's if you're Cincinnati, there's probably 2-3 plays in this one that you really want back. You want that one back for sure. You definitely want the play to end the game, and then the penalty on Jamar Chase, getting into a cussing out an official, getting an unsportsmanlike conduct after you have a big game or after a game. I mean, these are things that really just you can't afford to do. You can't afford to shoot yourself in the foot, especially when you're playing a championship caliber team. You know what I'm saying? That is the Kansas City Chiefs. But anywho, keep continuing on. Isaiah Pacheco has a productive day in this one. He ends up going down with an injury, but doesn't finish his game, but has 90 yards on the ground, another 20 in the air before he leaves the game with injury. Rashee Rice had a good day, had an explosive reception in this one, finishes with 75 yards and a 45-yard touchdown. On the other side, Joe Burrow, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns in this one. That sack fumble, they ended up getting recovered for a touchdown like we talked about. Jamar Chase, man. Jamar Chase in this one, we know what's going on. He wanted a contract. He thought he was going to get one from the Bengals all offseason. Wants to be paid 1 penny more than his counterpart in Justin Jefferson from LSU. The Bengals slow play him. He feels burned or lied to by the organization. He shows up 2 days before week 1, has an unimpressive week 1. Week 2, this isn't any better. 35 yards in this game. He gets the penalty here. He thought he got tackled. He thought he got horse collar tackled. There was no flag on the play. I'm not gonna say he did or he didn't. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Honestly, maybe he had a point to make. But anyway, you didn't get the call. You can't overly bitch about it, bro. Period. There's no other way to say it. Yeah, be upset, be mad, say something to the ref. Especially let him put a bug in his ear about it. So there's definitely not another one. You know what I'm saying? Make him more sensitive to the call. You know what I mean? You're a star. You got a little cachet. You got a little pool in the league, but you can't be uncontrollable or unconsolable. Like you're cute. Your quarterback. Joe tried to grab him and hey man, you gotta chill, bro. You know what I mean? Like you can't completely lose control the way he did. And like I said, and then hurt the team. You get that penalty. And a part of this is I heard Brandon Marshall talk about this when he was going through his contract dispute a long time ago when he was playing with the Chicago Bears. And one of the things he talked about was that, man, when he didn't have his contract was in the air or he didn't have that security, he couldn't play. He talked about it as well. He couldn't play. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing from Ja'Marr Chase. He understands that, man, I got 35 million reasons not to go out here and get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to let y'all play. I don't want to I don't want to have to give back 15 million because I got hurt, you know what I'm saying, trying to play in good faith that y'all gonna do the right thing by me. You know what I mean? Especially an organization in the Bengals that's notoriously cheap. You know what I mean? Notoriously cheap. You know what I mean? And so, and that's that not just me talking. I mean, you look at old stalwart players there. Carson Palmer couldn't get paid there. Number one Heisman winning quarterback, franchise quarterback, couldn't get paid, couldn't get cashed out there, couldn't get paid. There's a litany of players there, but we know this about the Bengals. Extremely cheap organization. Ja'Marr Chase knows it's already going to be an uphill battle. He just watched his homeboy T. Higgins not get a contract over 2 years, and now he's playing on a franchise tag. He'll be gone after this season. So Ja'Marr Chase has a lot of these worries and concerns, and it's affecting his play. I'm putting it on it's affecting his play, especially when I see you argue and cuss out a ref over a 9 call for a safety issue. Because like I said, he could have got hurt. And so that horse collar tackle, we see guys lose ACLs, you know what I'm saying? You tear knees with that tackle. So he's sitting there like, look, man, I already don't feel good being out here. I'm already, you know what I mean? I'm already risking 35 big ones. I'm already risking 35 M's every time I take a snap. I risk $35 million every snap. And then I get a horse collar tackle which could have, boom, just like that, I could have lost this season, and I probably could have lost 60% of my earning potential over the next 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how drastic this is. And what I would tell Ja'Marr Chase, honestly, because some guys, everybody isn't affected in this way. But I tell you what, man, if it's affected them the way it appears to be affected them, then, bro, you might want to go ahead and sit it down, dog. Because one thing about this game, you can't play this game scared. Because if you thinking about anything other than the guy who's trying to kill you, you know what I'm saying? If you're thinking about anything other than your job, that's how you get hurt playing this game. And so, like, man, look, looking on the outside, looking in, it looks like he's definitely in a tough mental space now without having this contract or this deal. And it's definitely 2 weeks into this season, if you ask me. It's affecting his play, man. And like I said, if it's weighing this heavy on his heart, then, man, you might have to, I don't know, you might have to sit it down. Now the ramifications of that, I mean, you lose a lot of bread in the upfront. You can't sit out this whole year because you will need the accrued year. Well, no, you know what? I can't even say that then, because of he's in his 3rd year. You know what I'm saying? So he still has the 4th year and the 5th year option. You know what I'm saying? And so he's in a tough predicament, a tough place there. And so, yeah, I'm anxious to see how this one plays out, man. But like I said, the big, I was almost moving on before we get to the call. Give me 1 second. Here's my drink. All right. So Cincinnati's up by 2. There's, I don't know, is it a minute 30 left in this game? Kansas City's driving. They're trying they need to get in field goal range to have a chance to win this game. Of course, it's a 4th down play. It's a roughly 30-yard pass play to, gosh, now I can't remember who the pass was to, but Cincinnati Bengal player. I mean, he gets a good jump on it. He makes a play on the ball, playing through the receiver, gets a deflection at the high point. That was the 4th down play. So if you're Cincinnati, you think, okay, game over. We came in here, we got one. You know what I mean? We came in here, we took another one from the Chiefs, etc. There's a flag on the play. Now, here's the thing about this as well, because we're going to get into whether or not you think it was a penalty or whatever, but the flag was late. Like, that just adds to the perceived, what's the right word? The Chiefs, and it happens like this when you're the team at the top. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when you're the team at the top of the mountain, when everybody is chasing you, then of course, you know, people are gonna say things about, well, you get all the breaks. The ball always bounces the Chiefs' way, and you get stuff like that's gonna be said. That just goes with the territory. You know, sometimes I might feel that way myself every now and again. This wasn't that situation. He was early. And I'm a defensive guy through and through. You know what I mean? I'm a defensive guy through and through. Fact is, he was early. You know what I mean? He came, he jumped, he jumped into the dude's back, makes contact with him. Now he is playing the ball, so there's a fair point there. He's playing the ball, but he was early, man. You was early, bro. You were early. You were early. You made strong contact. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing. I mean, there's no other way around it. It was. I'm not mad at the call that was made, but I hate that the flag was late. Like, don't let the play happen. Don't let Cincinnati have 3 seconds of exaltation. Don't let us, woo, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't give us time to do all that. And then, like, no, that's enough. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, it was a penalty. I think it was clear enough that if you're going to make the call, you can make it right now. Make it right now, man. Don't add fuel to the fire that the refs are in your pocket, that they've been in the woods, that everything gets bent or shaded or tweaked so that the Chiefs can come out on the plus side of it. And like I said, the later delayed flag just adds to that. But at the end of the day, I do think it was a quality flag. If you're gonna make the, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna call it, then yeah, you know what I mean. It was a quality call. He was early and he made strong enough contact into the body of the Chiefs receiver. I mean, it is what it is. So the Chiefs end up, they get that penalty. They kick a 51, 52-yard field goal to win that game. Like I said, they get out of there with a 1-point victory and start this season 2-0, man. 2-0 by the slimmest of margins. 2-0 by a 50-yard field goal after a contentious call, one way or the other. And then another victory by the big toe of Isaiah Likely, you know what I'm saying, being half inch over the line. You know what I mean? So the slimmest of margins, but that's what champions do, man. Winners win. Period. I used to say this all the time with my dog Chop, man. Winners win, dog. Winners find a way to win every time. Period. It's just what happens, man. Winners know how to win. Winners find a way to win. And losers, believe it or not, like it or love it, losers find a way to lose as well. You know what I mean? And so it is what it is there, man. Kansas City 2-0, defending champs, looking to three-peat. And they got a pretty strong start to the season. So we'll see how it continues to play out. Moving on, man. So my game of the week last week was Tampa Bay and Detroit. Entertaining playoff matchup. I'm a fan of both these quarterbacks, man. I'm a fan of Baker Mayfield. Y'all know what's going on with me and Big Bake, man. Y'all know I'll be holding it down for Big Bake, man. Fan of Baker Mayfield, fan of Jared Goff as well, man. And so I like both these guys. I got a soft spot for guys that, they cast offs, man. You know what I mean? Like, these guys got abandoned, got left for dead. You know what I mean? And then they find a way to, like I said, to redeem themselves or reclaim their name, man. So guys like Baker Mayfield, guys like Jared Goff, guys like Geno Smith, y'all know what's going on with me. I love a good underdog redemption story. And so this game gave me two of those guys. I did take the home team in Detroit to win this game, but Tampa Bay goes up there and gets it done. So kudos to them. 20-16. Detroit had tons of chances in this game. So there was opportunity there to be had. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find my notes. Where you at? Where you at, Detroit? There we go. Yeah. So there was opportunities there to be had if you're Detroit. And so Goff isn't playing his best ball, man. Goff isn't playing as clean as I generally feel like he plays for the most part. He goes for 300 yards in this game. No touchdowns, throws 2 interceptions. And here's the thing as well in this game. He has 55 pass attempts. And so not that he's not capable, but a team that has the offensive line that the Lions have, headlined by Penei Sewell, probably the best right tackle in football, you've got him. You've got one of, if not the best 1-2 back, 1-2 punch in a backfield in this league as well, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. You've got these guys with that offensive line. And I don't like that Jared Goff in a game that's this close at home, where, like I said, we don't have it. I just don't like that we get 55 attempts where we could have, we instead, I wanted to see them lean into their physicality with that run game, much the way we saw them do to close out and get that win in week 1 against the Rams. You know what I'm saying? So this game, we get to the fourth quarter and overtime. Like, man, cut all the cute shit out, man. turn around, give the ball to our big back, and let's run behind our big offensive lineman, and let's, take over this game physically. And so I would have wanted to see them maybe do that a little more or bring some type of balance. There's rarely, if ever, that me myself, there's not many times, if ever, I ever want to see a quarterback have 50 plus pass attempts, because that to me spells trouble more than anything. You know what I mean? So I'm just not a fan of that style of offense, man. Where you've got to do that unless you're just lighting it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan of just I do like seeing quality ball. If you're out there, we go 55 attempts because we're just dicing them up. They can't do nothing with us. You know what I mean? I look like Tom Brady and Randy Moss and what was that? That whatever that, you know what I'm saying? That 20. Y'all help me out, man. Was that 2010? No, not 2010. 2008, wherever that year was. Like I said, like, we earned it out like that, that's one thing. But for the most part, I'm not a fan of seeing that. Aiden Hutchinson playing with his hair on fire in this game. There was a point in this game where it looked like Aiden Hutchinson might break the single game sack record. He finishes with 4.5 sacks in this one. I think he had 4 sacks in the first half. Or maybe he had like 3. I think he had 3 sacks in the first half. I think he had 3 sacks in the first half or maybe in the first quarter. Finishes with 4.5. The Bucs really had no answer for him all damn day, and he caused a lot of havoc there. Kudos to the Bucs for not being derailed and being able to not let that just completely wreck the game. That generally we see that happen with that type of pressure. Baker Mayfield doesn't set the world on fire in this game, especially, like I said, with the pass protection issues, being sacked and hit as much as he was. Only 185 yards in the air, throws 1 touchdown, does throw an interception. But he got his legs going in this one. I think his legs, especially in the second half of this game as well, where he was able to pick up a couple critical first downs. He ends up scoring would end up being the game-winning touchdown. It was at the end of the third quarter, but he scores that touchdown on an 11-yard scramble to run up the middle and gets it to the end zone. And like I said, that ended up being the deciding touchdown in this game. Chris Godwin stacking 2 productive weeks in a row on top of each other. He goes for over 100 yards and a touchdown in this game as well. And so all that said, like I said, it's 2016 going into the fourth quarter. And this is where I say where Detroit still had this game there for the taking. But like I said, they just couldn't make the plays and couldn't get this done. Hold on. Couldn't get this done. So I was catching up on that chat. My bad, Rini. I didn't see that comment before I left the Chiefs game. But Detroit has the ball at home in the red zone on their what? I think they end up stalling inside their own like 10, 15-yard line. They get the big explosive play from Jahmyr Gibbs up the left sideline. I think he takes them down to like the 14 or 15-yard line. You've got 4 downs now to punch it in the end zone at the crib in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? I think there's maybe 3-4 minutes left in the game. So you've got plenty of time. Take your time, get a score. You've got to score here. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a championship caliber team, a team that's trying to break through from contender to championship level threat of a team, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to take that next step. You know what I'm saying? These are the games in that situation. This is where you've got to step up and rise to the occasion and make a play. You've got to get this done. We're inside our own 15 at the crib. You know what I'm saying? In a tight game. 3-4 minutes left. We got to get a touchdown here. Instead, that drive stalls. They don't get a score. They go for it on fourth down, of course, because you're down 4 points, so they don't get the field goal here. That drive stalls. Tampa Bay takes over. You get what you do what you have to do to stop them and get the ball back. So you actually get the ball back again now inside of 2 minutes. You get the ball back. You drive down and threaten the red zone again. I think that second drive stalls at like the 25-yard line, but still you get to the, like I said, to the scoring zone. You know what I'm saying? The 20 is the official red zone, but you get down to the 25 and then you putter. You know what I mean? You don't get anything done. That fourth down play, even if it's completed, it wasn't going to be enough for a first down, but Goff skips it in and it hits Buddy in the ankles anyway. You know what I mean? So completed or not, the game was going to be over. But you get two last minute kind of cracks at the end zone there, and you don't capitalize on either one at all at the crib. That's the type of game. This is the type of game you got to win if you're going to be a serious championship contender. And instead, you let Tampa Bay come in there and steal one from you. And so, kudos to Tampa Bay for sure. Kudos to Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles, man, for like I said, going on the road, winning ugly, and pulling one out. Let's see the Sunday night game, man. Houston at the crib against Caleb Williams. In this one, Houston finds a way to win this game 19-13. Now, here's the thing about this Chicago Bears team. Offensively, it's been very ugly. The offensive line is terrible. I mean, they are getting worked, but they're only 2 weeks into this year. But I'm curious to see. They've given up double-digit sacks. I'm confident. Houston's defense in this game, all over Caleb Williams. They had 7 sacks, 7 official sacks. They probably hit Kyler Murray between hits and knockdowns. They probably hit him or knocked him down another 10 times in this game. I mean, there was no room to breathe here if you're Caleb Williams in dealing with that Houston defense in this game. He also throws, he also throws 2 interceptions in this one. DJ Moore, I've seen like clips or memes of him wearing his frustration on the bench. Like I said, man, it's ugly offensive football there in Chicago. Caleb Williams is going to be, I still have faith that he's going to be a terrific player, but he's a young guy. He's got to take these growing pains. And so a lot of guys, and it's what's, I guess funny about that is a lot of people were predicting Caleb Williams to have the early success that we saw CJ Stroud have with the Texans last year, where he didn't hit this soon. I think his first 2 games were a little choppy. That third game a little better. But then once he got to like week 4 through 6, 4 through 8 is where he really kind of turned the corner. Then he got the concussion, sat down for a week or 2, and then came back and still finished extremely strong, ended up winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. So a lot of people were predicting that Caleb Williams, as talented and highly touted as he is coming into the league, that he would have a CJ Stroud style of impact as a rookie. And that to this point hasn't been the case. Now, in fairness to Caleb Williams, he doesn't have a lot of the things in place that helped CJ be so successful as early as he was. The offensive coordinator, now they were new, but a very competent offensive mind and offensive scheme in place. He had great talent on the outside, or unrealized talent, but talent nonetheless. And Nico Collins, they hit on Tank Dell. You got good production from Dalton Schultz coming over for the Cowboys. Now the Bears, they do have weapons on the outside. They've got DJ Moore. You draft Rome Odunze, who's a rookie. Now Keenan Allen has been banged up, so he hasn't made his impact felt just yet. But that offensive line is definitely problematic, and so it's compounding the other issues that they're having, just going through the growing pains with Caleb Williams. On the other side for the Texans, Stroud goes 260 for 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Nico Collins was a man amongst boys, man, at certain points in this game. Has himself a big day, 8 catches, 135 yards, 28-yard touchdown reception in this game. And then you already shot out that Houston defense, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions on the day. The one by Derek Stingley is just a one-on-one vertical route with against DJ Moore up the left sideline. DJ Moore is running the streak. He takes an inside release and then goes to, I guess, maybe try to stack Stingley. Caleb Williams throws that ball. He throws it inside, but DJ Moore took the inside release. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of, at the end of the day, it's an interception. So Stingley comes down with that pass. It was thrown inside instead of maybe putting it on the outside shoulder to maybe help shield the ball or do better to keep it away from the DB. But nonetheless, man, great play there by Derek Stingley, who's really picked it up and turned the corner, man. Especially, like I said, coming into the league, he was injured. He was beat up his first 2 years. Then he really started to kind of turn the corner the second half of last year, and he's picking up where he left off to start the year this year, just 2 weeks in. And so impressive performance nonetheless. Moving on, the Monday night game. Here we go. Monday night, Atlanta goes on the road to Philly. Philly gets the impressive week 1 victory in Brazil over Green Bay. We saw flashes of what this offense hopes to be now under the tutelage of Kellen Moore with the new weapon in place and Saquon Barkley, who looked damn good week 1, adding him to the mix with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You go get Jahan Dotson from the Commanders to fill in for that official 3 spot. You revamp that offensive line on the other side of Jason Kelce, and like I say, you still look pretty good in Green Bay. You come out in this one, and kind of similar in a way to kind of what we saw from the Bengals and what I was saying about the Lions, even a little bit, where you let this one get away. You let this one slip away. Atlanta, and kudos to Atlanta as well for bouncing back, because they had an ugly week 1 loss against my Steelers where they just looked completely inept on offense. There were people after that week 1 performance against my Steelers saying like maybe they need to go ahead and start Penix and let Kirk fully heal or something. So there were those type of rumbles already after week 1. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, man, coming back. He's shaking that Monday night primetime stigma that he had for so long. So he's got over that for the last couple of years, continues his trend or his new trend now of showing up and being able to play well on Monday night. And this game ends a lot better than it started, especially offensively. But Captain Kirk and those Falcons, he goes 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bijan has a pretty decent day, 14 carries, 97 yards, another 25 yards or so in the air. Darnell Mooney comes up big in this one, 3 catches, 88 yards. I want to say all 3 of them were in the fourth quarter. I want 2 of them for sure. 2 big catches in the fourth quarter of that game to move the ball right down the field and get them in scoring position. And then Drake London finishes with 54 yards and scores the game-winning touchdown on an out route from Kirk Cousins on Darius Slay, the top corner from the Eagles. And so think about this game here. So the Eagles, they have the lead in this game. I want to say it was 15-10 at one point in this game. What happened there? Now I'm going to just keep moving past that. Let me just get into the stats first. Jalen Hurts goes 180 yards, 1 touchdown, throws the interception at the end of the game. Under pressure or duress, gets a hit, gets the ball off, and throws an interception to Jesse Bates to kind of close the game out. But 183 passing yards, 85 yards on the ground, does get a rushing touchdown as well. Saquon was productive on the ground, 95 yards rushing, 20 yards receiving. Devontae Smith playing, without his, being Robin, playing without Batman. AJ Brown downgraded to out in this game with a hamstring injury. Devontae Smith goes 76 yards and scores a touchdown. Now, play of the game here for me in this one is what? What was I finna say here? Yeah, Philadelphia's up 21 to. They're up 21-15. Okay, yeah. So they're up. They're up 20. No, they're up 18-15. They're in scoring position. They're inside the 10. It's third down. They call a play action pass. They get Saquon Barkley wide open in the flat. Jalen Hurts gives him a perfect pass, perfect ball. It hits Saquon Barkley in both fingertips. Drop pass. That was going to be a first down. They were going to wind down the clock. Atlanta can't stop the clock, or they don't have enough touchdowns. They only have 1 touchdown, I think. And so it's less than 2 minutes to play. You get that first down. You take 3 knees. We get out of here with a dub. You know what I'm saying? Saquon drops that, which should have been the game-sealing first down. Instead, they kick the field goal. It's 21-15 now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's 21-15 now. And now you've got to kick the ball back to Captain Kirk and those Falcons. Now, in fairness, the Falcons offense had, it hadn't been gangbusters at all for most of this game. And so you would hope or anticipate that making them drive the full length of the field with 1 timeout, less than 2 minutes. So they already missed the 2-minute drills, less than 2 minutes. You would think that, okay, with the defense, they did a decent job of getting pressure on Kirk for, a decent part of this game. So you would think they can pull this one out. We're at home. We're the better team. Find a way to get it done. Instead, Kirk comes out, gets a quick, first play is a first down, 10 or 12 yard pass to Kyle Pitts. So you're already feeling good. You get the chain moving on the first play of this game-winning drive. The next play is, I want to say, like a 40-yard completion up the left sideline to Darnell Mooney, who finds a way to find an open space between an open hole between the safety and the corner and gets himself lost and gets a catch right there on the left sideline for about 40 yards. So now they're already on plus territory, and now they can even take their time. You know what I mean? They can take their time and score. You get another completion to get it down inside the 10. I think that one might have went to Mooney as well. Mooney had two big catches, I want to say, on that final drive. He only finished with 3 catches for 88 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that one also goes to Mooney. And then to win the game-winning touchdown, our best guy against your best guy, Drake London on on Darius Slay, and just routes him. You know what I mean? Gives him a little head nod like he's going to break in for a slant or a post, breaks it back out to the flat-out route, and Kirk puts it right on him. Easy peasy touchdown to take the lead, to tie the game, and then they get the extra point to take the lead. Now, here's the thing as well on that touchdown, there's a unsportsmanlike penalty on Drake London's celebration, which felt like a ticky-tacky call. You know what I'm saying? And so felt a little ticky-tacky. They get him for the penalty. So now the extra point is 48 yards. So now you got to kick it down there 50-yard field goal just to get the extra point to hopefully take the lead. And so I'm glad for Atlanta's sake that penalty didn't affect the outcome of the game. They still got that extra point, and then so they still got the lead. Like I said, man, we move down the field that way. They score in under a minute. They scored so fast they gave the ball back to Philly. Philly had damn near a minute, like 50 seconds. You know what I'm saying, to try to do something with the ball. That's how efficient that drive was, just moving right down the field. And I want to say it was 4 plays, like 4 straight completions culminated in that game-winning touchdown. Then anyway, like I said, you get the ball back to Philly. Philly, gets a chance to try to rebuttal. They can't do it. They get pressure on Jalen Hurts. He throws one up, chucks one up. Jesse Bates closes the game with an interception. And Atlanta goes to Philly on Monday night and gets a dub. So kudos and congratulations to Captain Kirk and those Atlanta Falcons for sure. So now, let me see here. That's the full slate of games there. So now my players of the week, I picked like 3 or 4 guys that just really stood out or for me, in my opinion, for this week's slate of games. Opening it up, man, with Kyler Murray and by extension Marvin Harrison Jr., especially like I said, being in the media, getting a little flack for maybe not getting the ball, but Kyler Murray was just lights out in that Rams game, especially his connection with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first half of that game. Terrific, dynamite. So tons of excitement built there for seeing how they continue to grow going forward. Alvin Kamara completely dominating the Cowboys. 3 touchdowns on the ground, another touchdown in the air on a 60-yard screen pass. Just completely dominant in the leading factor in that very impressive road victory against the Cowboys. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I could have went a couple ways here. Fred Warner deserves a shout out as well. I talked about his performance earlier when I went over that Niners game, filled up the stat sheet defensively, but I'm going Aiden Hutchinson. Like I said, man on fire. 4.5 sacks in this game. I think 3 of them were in the first half. And just was lights out. Just was lights out. And so very impressive performance from Aiden Hutchinson, man. And so kudos to y'all boys, man. Kudos to y'all. Salute to y'all for a very impressive week 1 performance from all 3 or 4 of you guys. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. there. And then last but not least, we got more football tomorrow night. Thursday night football is New England on the road against interdivision rival New York Jets. I expect this game to be a very tight and competitive game, namely because of the way the Patriots are running the ball and the way they're playing defense. That if these first 2 weeks are any indication, they're not anyone's pushover. And so you already have and then you have a division matchup. Division matchups are always going to be tightly contested anyway. The Jets, that defense, especially week 1, they had trouble stopping the run. New England, as we know, especially looking at this last week's performance in this overtime loss against Seattle, they definitely want to control the game with their run game and play tough, stingy defense. And so there's an opportunity to probably do that here in this Thursday night game against the Jets. And like I said, the way that run defense has performed thus far and just as stingy as that defense is playing, Aaron Rodgers is still kind of sorting through and finding his groove in this offense with Garrett Wilson, I still have no doubts that in another month's time, assuming he's healthy, but I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to really turn up this Jets offense, man, and him and Garrett Wilson to kind of get it going. I feel like every game so far, it's only been two, but there's a play or two or a pass or two or a throw or two between Rodgers and Wilson. It just kind of gives me a glimpse of what's sure to come as they continue to kind of smooth out and kind of find that groove. But I definitely expect this one to be tightly contested, tough defensive, ugly football game made so that way by the Patriots. But I do expect the Jets to pull it out. I'm going 20-17 Jets at the crib. And then making sure, yeah, that is it. That is all. That's it and that's all, daggone it. All right. Every single game, we went through them all the Sunday slate games, Sunday during the day, Sunday night, Monday night, and then even got into and touched a little bit. Made a little prediction on that Thursday night game for tomorrow night. So that's it. That's all, man. Y'all know what's going on. Shout out to the members, man. Shout out to the members that was in the building today. Y'all know what's going on, man. One more time, man. Let me run it down for y'all, man. Shout out to the fam bell. Shout out to my sis, my mama, my auntie coming through, holding your boy down as always. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to my dog, Terrible Time, man, holding it down for them Houston, Texas, man. Appreciate your homeboy. Shout out to my dog, Isaiah, man. We got a little side bet going on. Man. His Chargers facing my Steelers. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens there Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So if nothing else, I need TJ to do his thing, man. So I ain't got to have Isaiah chirping at me in my ear, man. You know what I'm saying? And no, I got to get this dub. I can't have Isaiah holding this over me for the whole season. The Chargers might not win another game all year, and Isaiah will be sure to let me know that his Chargers beat my Steelers, even if it's the last game they win this year. I can't have that happen. I need my Steelers to come through and handle business for your dog. But other than that, man, y'all know what's going on. If I forgot to say your name, damn, my bad. But charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my heart. You know I'm thinking about you. Appreciate all the love and support as always. Man, y'all know what's going on, man. I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody for stopping in, tapping in. Appreciate everybody for being active in that chat for me. Y'all heard my dog Tom said earlier, man. If you're in the building, before you leave, hit the like button for your dog, man. I appreciate it. I will see y'all Sunday, 10 a.m. Sunday Fun Day, morning football show. Tap in with your guy. Let's go over to get a little pregame in, man. Have a little fun before Sunday's games get started. Tap in with your dog. Y'all know where to find me. Sunday, 10 a.m. I'll see y'all then. Peace.